Okay, I have a lot to say about this paint scheme. So, hello, Dreaming Zach here once again, and today we're going to be looking at NASCAR paint schemes. One of my favorite parts about motorsports and NASCAR especially are the designs on the cars and the paint schemes, everything that the artists decide to put on the cars to represent a brand. I've always been interested in that since I've been collecting little NASCAR die casts as a kid. So I think, you know, basically every week as the cars are out on the track, there's new paint schemes every week. Let's go over them. I think, especially in this day and age, NASCAR, there's a different paint scheme every week, it feels like, for different drivers, so it's, you know, it's fun to go over them. We have all of the cars from the Busch Clash. This is the weekly starting lineup post that NASCAR.com makes, where it has really good, clear images of the cars on the track at a really good angle, so you can see basically all of the car. So I'm gonna wait for these to come out. You know, basically it comes out with the day before the race. Yeah, starting off we have Ryan Newman's cock. Is that how you say it? I feel like I'm not saying it right. Cock? Cock. I don't think that's how you say it. Color scheme is very consistent with this car. Black and white and a light blue. I don't know how much I like the black number. I don't know if a blue number would have been better. I feel like the number in this stripe is just kind of awkward in general. Like, I don't know. It's almost, it doesn't seem like it's flowing with the number. It just seems like the number's kind of plopped on there. I don't know. There's something about this that needs to be done different, I feel like. I think because this is such a simple paint scheme, they could have made the black swoosh or whatever, the black line go this one. No, I don't know. Because they're going for this like arrowhead design, which I don't know if I like this part of the car. I feel like this paint scheme is trying to be simple, but it's overcomplicating itself. I think they could have done a little bit better. So this isn't necessarily a new paint scheme, but this is the first time we've seen Moneyline on the number 2 for Brad Keselowski. The color green for Moneyline is really, really nice. The white base, it's a really clean looking car. I still wish these big ass spoilers, or as Dale Jr. coined the term, giant ass spoilers. I wish these giant ass spoilers were not so big and black and just, I don't know, they're ugly. Like, they are kind of ugly. I mean, this car, you really notice it with this car because this car is so nice and clean. You know, of course it's got the Penske scallops, but I think I really enjoy Penske's cars just because of the uniformity. I mean, they really do look like a team when you see all 3 of the cars together. Ooh, this is interesting. Why does it look purple? It looks more purple than I think it actually is. I think it's more of a dark blue, but this looks really purple in this image. Honestly, the Sirius XM car is always really boring. Any paint scheme that uses these kind of, I don't know what geometric shape this is even called, but like they're almost like spikes, like these horizontal spikes on the side of the car. That is one of the most cliche things done in race car design. I feel like these just spikes are just across the side. You see them literally everywhere. It is kind of cliche, and it makes this car not stand out at all. The blue roof is okay. I think it's fine. I feel like Sirius XM, there could be more done. There have been better Sirius XM paint schemes. You know, I believe Eric Jones 2018, that was a much better paint scheme for Sirius XM. This one I'm not a fan of. My man Kyle Larson, Advent Health. I have loved all of the Advent Health cars. They have a very interesting color scheme. It's, you know, it's like, normally these colors would be clashing together. It's like this kind of turquoise green, this really bright grass green, this like deep gold yellow, and then like different shades of blues, like lighter blues, darker blues, but they're more still sky blues. It's a really interesting car. The color scheme shouldn't be working together, yet it is. It's a bunch of cooler colors with the yellow and the green kind of bringing some warmth to it, and it's definitely kind of making the color pop. I have to say, I did actually kind of enjoy his Advent Health scheme from last year a little bit more. I feel like the last year's scheme had more geometric shapes and a lot of sharp edges on the side of the car. It formed really cool patterns, it kind of felt like. This car with the more wavy design on the side, I don't know if I'm as big of a fan of it. But I don't know, it's not that bad. It's still, again, the color's popping a lot and I really like it, but I still prefer the 2019 scheme. I don't know how I feel about this one. It's So green and purple are good colors to put together. They're very complementary, but is that like a white base? It almost looks like a milky base. No, I think it's white. I think my screen's just in warm mode because it's like midnight or something. I don't know. This car is just, there's not much to talk about. I feel like this little leaf design on the side is cool, but I think there needs to be more color back here or something. I don't know. I like the green numbers and how they pop. I really do enjoy that, I have to say, but the car's just not busy. There needs to be, they could just put more leaves and stuff, honestly, but I don't know if that goes with their brand. I feel like this is one of those paint schemes where the brand kind of restricted how much they could do. I don't know. I don't know what you would do. I don't know. That's the thing about race car design that's always interesting. How do you take a brand and actually make a good paint scheme with it if the brand kind of seems restricted? Like, you don't... There's creativity in that and getting a brand out into a paint scheme. Ooh, same scheme from last year, the Mobile One, number 14 for Clint Boyer. I love how much the red pops and then like how the blue just outlines it. This color red and this color blue go together so well. It's kind of like Mario and Sonic, like that kind of blue versus red, like superhero stereotype almost. It's doing a really good job playing out in this Mobile One car. One thing that is kind of bothering me though that I've noticed, I don't like how the 14's touching the flame. Very, very small nitpick though. They didn't change the scheme and I don't think they needed to. When they changed the Mobile One schemes to flames, I was kind of questioning it, but I don't know. I mean, if you can make flames work, then go for it. I think the way they have them off the headlights was very smooth. I think it works really well. I think they could maybe do some stuff more in the back of the car, but I don't know. I feel like the colors are doing enough of the work. The colors are popping enough to where you don't really need to put any more decals on the car. William Byron's Liberty University Chevrolet. I mean, I don't care for this paint scheme. I have things to say about Liberty University in general, but I'll say that for not a video. But I don't know. I mean, I do relate it to William Byron. I think one thing we need to talk about with paint schemes is driver identity. Driver identity is very important with paint schemes and just with building a brand in general. They haven't changed this paint scheme much, and I guess they don't have to. I don't really, these little flames right here, I don't know, they're kind of sad. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you gonna go, like, you're not gonna go back through the side panel, but you're just gonna droop behind the number? I don't know. I do like the red outline on the 24. It does kind of, ooh, I almost want to see this car with yellow numbers. Like, not to be Jeff Gordon, I kind of actually don't like it when the 24 has yellow numbers now, because I feel like that's just trying to rip off on Jeff Gordon's brand when we're trying to build William Byron's brand. So I actually do kind of like how this car looks. But again, there's just, I don't know, there's not much to it. I don't know how you improve it. There's ways to improve it actually, but I don't know. I'm not gonna be the one to design it. I just don't care for Liberty University. Oh, this is a really nice paint scheme. Valvoline knows how to do it with paint schemes. I mean, it's hard to mess up a Valvoline paint scheme. Is this red stripe new? I feel like this red stripe is new around the hood and everything. I don't know. It might be, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. It's the same Valvoline paint scheme they've always ran, but again, it's clean. You don't need to do anything to it, honestly. I wish, is one thing, I wish this red and blue stripe right here, I wish it kind of moved more towards the front of the car, just so there wasn't this moment where the 88's kind of clashing with the white background. I just really don't like how that looks. Also, is the deck lid white? Why is the deck lid white? That is weird. I don't like that at all. Also, like, again, with the red and blue, this red and blue is working together great with the hood number. But yeah, I mean, it's a classic Valvoline paint scheme, but you can't go wrong with it. I really like it. Okay, I have a lot to say about this paint scheme. So, number one, people always get on Kyle Busch, the M&M's Toyota, for not really changing. I think this is one of the best paint schemes in NASCAR because, one, it's M&M's. Everyone knows what M&M's are. It catches attention, especially it catches attention of kids. It's really colorful. You can pick out Kyle Busch's car on the track every week. You can find the M&M's car so easily. It's so bright, it's so colorful, and it is Kyle Busch's brand. Like, this is Kyle Busch. Like, this car is Kyle Busch. And what they put on the car, unfortunately, it's just for the Busch Clash. they put the Monster Energy, or I guess the NASCAR Cup Series trophy that he just won last November. They put champion on the back with an 18 in the word. That is a flex. I am such a fan of this paint scheme. Just how Kyle Busch is flexing with his new hardware, his new cup trophy. I am so digging this paint scheme. You know, again, it's more of the same, but it works. This is branding at its finest. This is Kyle Busch in the M&M's Toyota. You have known it well since 2008, and it's not going anywhere. But this time he's flexing his new hardware, and I love this paint scheme. I want a die cast of this. I just think putting the trophy on the car is just so cool. No one's done it before. I don't know, but I love it, dude. This paint scheme is really interesting. I don't know if this is like the new Busch Light paint scheme or not, but you know, it's got a silver background with the deep blue flames. I don't know if they're metallic flames or not. This is a situation where I'm not exactly sure why they're using flames. I feel like flames are very easily cliche, especially after the Jeff Gordon era of paint schemes, where it's just, I feel like, you know, putting flames on something, and especially in like pop culture cars, was just automatically like cool and good. I don't know how I feel about these flames, especially with Busch Light. Like Busch Light's a cold beer. It's not flames. I don't know. Like, why put flames? I mean, the car's okay. The number kind of blends in with the flames a little bit, which I don't know how I feel about that. Even look at the bottle, the can of Busch Light's a very, you know, it's a silver. It's got silver on it, but it's light blue. Why is this dark blue? I don't understand why it's dark blue flames and not maybe light blue flames or something. I don't know. I think this is only for the Busch Clash. Hopefully the other Busch schemes, like the older Busch schemes, come back for this year, because I definitely don't prefer this car. So this is a really interesting one. This is Chase Elliott's Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Okay. So the old Mountain Dew scheme was metallic green with black stripes. This one's got a lot going on with it. So it's a black base and it's green stripes, but they give it like an afterglow a little bit. They give it some glow, some white numbers, so the numbers pop out. I'm kind of a fan of this. I think, you know, using black bases are good, especially when you have colors on it that really pop, and they really did a good job of making this green pop. Black Mountain Dew schemes I have always been a fan of. Dale Jr. had one in 2009, I believe, that I really liked. And this kind of definitely gives me those vibes. Black Mountain Dew is really a nice like concept for a paint scheme. I almost want to see more silver on Mountain Dew cars. In fact, if this scheme had silver background instead of like black, I think that would have been really cool. Or maybe, I don't know, some silver accents somewhere. I don't know, but I think this is a successful paint scheme. Well, another like standard paint scheme that hasn't really changed much. Sports Clips, Eric Jones. Oh, I don't know how I feel about this number, this red. I mean, I don't know. It's, again, what I talked about earlier with the spikes, the side spikes. This is such a cliche with race car design. I think Sports Clips can do a lot better. I feel like Sport Clips, their brand, almost just looks simple and classic. I feel like they should go for that in a race car design. Maybe more simple, more classic. This is kind of simple, but it's not classic, if that makes sense. I feel like they should have more straighter lines that aren't as jagged. Maybe they flow together or something. I don't know. I feel like something does need to change with this car, because it does have a little bit of branding, but it's not the strongest paint scheme. And I think the fact that the number is red on the sides kind of like taking away from the brand that this car can build. All right, a lot of people talk about this paint scheme. Again, what we talked about Kyle Busch earlier, they never changed this paint scheme. This paint scheme has been a thing since 2011, this whole decade. But you don't need to change it. I mean, again, this is one of the best paint schemes in NASCAR, because you know it's Joey Logano, it's Team Penske, it's Shell Pennzoil, it's iconic. The yellow catches attention, the red accents it very well. You don't need to change this paint scheme. I'm gonna say this, you know, every video. I don't think you really need to change this paint scheme. Because like every time I see a redesign of this paint scheme, like, yeah, it looks good, but like, I feel like this really just gets the job done. It is Joey Logano. I'm actually a little surprised they kept the same Menards scheme from last year. I think peak Menards is always a good looking car. The blue and the fluorescent yellow always pair together well. I never really decided how I felt about this orange and dark orange kind of looks like a paint stripe, and how it just kind of, it's just here. I think it's a good accent. I don't know if I like how this part of the car is just kind of like, how this kind of front blue just kind of ends. It's kind of rough. I don't know. I mean, it's a solid car. I don't know how I feel with the black numbers. I almost want orange. Do I want orange highlights on the numbers? I think, nah, that would look too tacky. I don't know. This paint scheme's simple, but it gets the job done. And I don't think they really need to change it. Okay, I've never been a fan of the Symbicort cars, like, at all. I don't really care for this. I mean, I think one of the problems is, look at the hood. There's so many words on the hood. Like, it's Symbicort, whatever this says, something else. Oh, that's what Symbicort is. I guess it's the drug name? Question mark? Oh god, I feel stupid as shit. Well, either way, the hood is busy. I mean, this is kind of the problem with all Symbicort cars. Number 2, what is this color scheme? Like dark blue, light green, like white? Like, what is going on? Like, if you take dark blue and white, it's a good paint scheme. If you take white and light green, it's a good paint scheme. If you take all 3, it's so hard. Like Kyle Larson's scheme, for example, had some, blues and greens. It worked together. I don't know how they did it, but I think because they didn't really have a white base. This is hideous. Like, not only the blue, the green, the white, but red? This dark ass red as the car number? Why? I don't get why the reds. I get it's because the logo, but why put these colors with the logo? Is that their brand? I don't think that. Like, this car doesn't make any sense. This is easily the worst car of this episode. I don't like this car at all. It is not recognizable. Like, it's one of those cars that you see, especially because it's white. It's one of those cars you see, you're like, wait, who is that? Like, that's not good for branding. It's not. There's a lot to talk about with this scheme. When this scheme got revealed in the render, I did not like it at all. I just thought I did want them to put more purple, and they did technically put more purple, but I didn't like how it looked on the render. However, seeing the car on track, I've warmed up to it. I don't know if it's the best way to send Jimmie Johnson out, after all these years. I don't know if it's the best way to send him out. I appreciate Ally for backing him this much, though, still, but I don't know. This almost kind of looks like a checkered flag pattern, and almost. I kind of like what's going on with it, but I really like the back of the car. Honestly, I think what's going on in the hood is also kind of stupid. I never understood this. I wanted to see this car with a white base so bad and more purple accents. But also I do still enjoy the yellow 48, because that is Jimmie Johnson. That's kind of a part of his brand as a race car driver. I don't like how his brand has become yellow 48 and black Ally car. I don't like that at all. I think they should have, when Lowe's left, and Lowe's had a black car for the last year, when Lowe's left, I think they should have gotten rid of the yellow number. I think they should have went for a white base, purple numbers, or I don't know. I think this car just needs to be white or something. I don't like how it's black. I don't like the yellow numbers with it. But again, comparing it to last year's scheme, it's a lot better. There is a lot more purple. That's my first goal for the car. I just wanted a lot more purple. And they put purple in the car. They have some nice texture and patterns going on. I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of this scheme. I was a fan of this scheme last year because it's the #1 car. It's Monster Energy, which was the series sponsor. It's clean. It's, flat black. I think they could maybe add green accents to it, but I don't know. Thing is with Monster Energy cars, their brand is the Monster logo, and they put the logo nice and big on it, nice and green. It's the only green on the car. If anytime you see green on this car, it's the Monster logo. It's easy to catch attention. I feel like if they try to busy up this paint scheme, it almost takes away from the logo, because it'll get the logo lost in the paint scheme, I think. This car's simple. It's #1. I mean, it's a simple #1 font, simple Monster logo. I mean, you don't need to change it. I think it's working good for current Busch. Last but not least, Denny Hamlin's FedEx Toyota. Same from last year, from 2019. I am a big fan of this FedEx scheme. I did kind of like the 2017, 2018 one that was mostly purple. I like purple. I guess I just like purple cars. I don't know. But I really enjoy this white base and how they emphasize the purple and the orange. Still miss the days where FedEx had all the colors. They had, they had what? They had blue, they had green, they had red. I've really missed those days of seeing a different color FedEx car every week. And this paint scheme with those different FedEx colors, oh god, it looks so good. But I mean, again, you don't have to change much. It's pretty good. I hope they stick with this paint scheme for a while. I know FedEx and Denny Hamlin very loyal to each other. Next episode, we'll be doing the Daytona 500. Might actually maybe do some Xfinity and truck schemes. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, you know, like this video if you want to see another episode. Follow me on Twitter at RacingZach if you want to see more NASCAR stuff. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. Till we meet again, stay safe, and I'll see you next episode.